Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Is This Love podcast, the podcast where we navigate and discuss the sexy and enticing world of love and relationships, where we throw our clothes to the ground and we rub up against emotion and heartache.
Heartache.
Well, that's what I call it. I'm just a.k.a. the other guy. And with me, as always, is the ever bright and illuminating Sara Nade. How are you, Sara?
I'm good, thank you. What a nice introduction. How are you?
Sun is always shining on you. All I know is that much.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it is very bright in here.
You're very illuminating, though. Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's been a week, as most weeks are.
Yeah.
It's been a total of 7 whole days since we've last done this thing, and we continue to chug along as more and more people find the show. And we want to thank all the new listeners who have come by to listen and enjoy our podcast. We do our best to give you guys out there the advice that you need, the suggestions that you're looking for, and also, hopefully, if you're very at all interested, get your questions, because your questions are what fuel this show. So go ahead and leave a question at isthislovepod@gmail.com or isthislovepod on any of the social medias, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Sara will talk about it on the show. But before we talk about all that stuff, you know how I like to talk about us and talk about our lives. Really, not really, because it's mostly just arbitrary things that happen to be
but it's nice.
It is nice. It's fun. It's fun. All right. I've noticed that recently people have been, escaping the internet altogether. And you're one of those people who've escaped it altogether. You're not really someone who dives deep into the online as much, except for a few places.
Well, I do feel like there's some responsibility, especially with like kind of the work I do, that to be on social media. And I also use it for things like to know when people's birthdays are and just kind of like randomly and very intermittently show my interests in their lives. So I wouldn't say I've escaped it as successfully as some people have, but it's maybe like something I kind of wish I could or would sometimes.
Yeah, well, I bring it up because I see more and more people, at least like on Twitter, which is always weird. It's like, I gave up Facebook and I'm no longer on Facebook. And it's like, well, you're on Twitter. Right. Like, you really didn't run that far away. You're still on social media. Yeah. But I guess at least one is better than none, right? Like, I guess at least you have some form of communication. But I guess I wanted to just know, like, how do you, in this modern era, is social media the best way? I asked a different question now, but that's fine. Is social media the best way to keep in touch with people? Because I don't know anymore.
I guess it depends. Do you like have a lot of friends and a lot of contacts and it's just easier to update everyone all at once with stuff happening? Also, are all of your friends big social media people because they probably appreciate being in contact that way? I guess it depends.
Well, look, when we were reconnecting and like saying, "Oh, hey, old friend, it's nice to see you again." I would write novels to you about what was going on in the world in my life and stuff. And I found a few more people who I'm like messaging and stuff, and I don't know how to stop messaging them gigantic tomes of CVS receipt long, conversations where I just like, they'll ask me a simple question like, what color do you like, or something, like just some random like question like that, right? And I'll be like, well, let me tell you the history of this color that I happen to like and why I happen to like it. As opposed to just being like, well, it's black, purple, like that's it. But no, I had to go on a dissertation and tell everyone, hey, by the way, let me give you the research of why these colors are so amazing. Now, but I feel like that would turn someone off. Like, that's got to be intimidating to get like obviously I don't know how to talk like a normal person when it comes to the internet, but that's got to be intimidating, right? Because I've done it to you.
Yeah, I think that there's like a certain point where there's enough being asked or talked about that it's better as a phone call or a video call. I think just that has to do with like text versus voice or being in person. Yeah. So, yeah, I think like if you are like texting a lot and you're asking a lot and explaining a lot, you could always say you want to do a video chat sometime or have a phone call, or we can meet up for coffee. And
no, that's true.
Yeah, that would just cut back on, super lengthy texts, I think.
Well, look, as I am now a quote-unquote author, I'm going to keep that in quotes until my second short story comes out. Then I'll just get rid of the quotation marks. But, I don't know. Like, I feel like I feel like it's just convenient because I don't want to bother anybody, right? Like, I don't want to take up anyone's time, even though I know I am by writing them all that stuff. but in other words, they could take their time replying. They could take a week, a month, whatever, or 6 months or a year, like Sarah. But
oh my God, I'm sorry. I did not. Did I really take a year? I think I did one time.
You did one time, yeah.
That's because I'm bad at social media, and people send me messages through like every single one, and then there's like one I haven't been on in a while, or like I have another account for that one that I've been focusing on. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, crap. How old is this message?
Well, luckily, because we do this podcast, our friendship has improved quite a bit.
We do talk a lot more often.
Yeah. Like, so much so that we'll start the show late. Like, late in the sense of, like, we only have so much time to record. But sometimes we'll start late because we're talking about stuff. And we're like, oh, let's do blah, blah, blah. But that's just how, just how we are. But I was just curious from your point of view, because I've been noticing that, more and more people are cutting that line to other people, and it's also kind of saying, and this is the last thing I'll say, also just saying, oh, well, if they want to get a hold of me, they know my number. It's like, not everyone likes to do that.
Yeah. I mean, it is almost like a kind of becoming a hermit a bit in our modern day of technology. It's like, whoa, you went off social media. How do I find you? It's like, you could find them.
Yeah.
But it's weird because we're so used to maybe talking to them through a specific app. And now that they're not on there anymore, we might feel like, is it okay to contact them? Like, do they want to be left alone? Is that what that means?
Oh, see, you're nailing it around the head. You're batting 1,000 on this one, because that's exactly the kind of thought process I go through. But anyway, hopefully you out there are still finding ways to communicate with you. Look, I have all the social medias on this show. We're on every social media on here. So, well, not every, but the good ones,
the main ones,
the main ones. We're not on TikTok or anything.
Oh, we're not on Snapchat either. That one seems to be really big right now, and I still don't use it, but I hear about it all the time.
Why? I guess because,
I honestly don't know.
Okay, I don't know either. Because I know TikTok is still huge. But,
that at least makes some amount of sense to me. I just don't understand why Snapchat is, I guess, why is that more, like, popular than just texting I guess because you can put filters. And
you can delete, it deletes. It deletes after 24 hours, so it's not. There is no history of this conversation when you're on Snapchat. It goes away.
But you can like save a history if you want to, right? Like,
oh, that's
probably what I would do. I think I would save everything because I don't like not knowing what was said before.
No, yeah, I 100% get where you're coming from. Like, I don't like not knowing. What did I just say? Did I accidentally send my friend a picture of my junk? Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
I need to know now. Anyway.
I mean, yeah, that would be concerning. And if you can't find out. But also, what if they don't respond for a while and they say something, you're like, wait, what did I say?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's hard to remember. Like, I don't even remember what we talked about last week, in all honesty. I mean, I remember that you had projects, and I remember that kind of stuff. But like the little things, where it's just like, oh, did you have a good weekend last weekend? I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't remember if I had a good weekend last week.
Oh, there you go. Right? Like, yeah, you'll say, I don't remember. And I know we talked about it.
I'm sure I did.
Yeah. Like, I know we talked about it because we started late that and we had internet problems too, which was another fun.
Oh, yeah.
Fun
I
thing.
totally forgot about that.
Yeah. So you'll
see? It's good to remember all this stuff. I mean, you don't need to remember everything.
No.
But to just completely delete everything seems extreme.
A little bit. Especially, I do have one last thing to say. When it comes to dating, I feel like there's a little bit more obligation to remember things in regards to the person you're trying to date. And because we're really forgetful, like, how does that work? We're talking, like, for instance, I'm having a conversation with you. Let's say we're trying to date. We're not. But let's just say, this is for example. It's all guys, okay, relax. But no, and I'm like, oh, Sarah, what do you like this? What do you like that? What's your favorite food? I have to remember that. Like,
do
right?
you?
Like, yeah, because if I want to pursue the relationship, I'm like, oh, I would love to make her favorite food. Then she'll think I'm great or whatever. Or I'd love to, like, take her out to a restaurant that serves her favorite food. That'd be awesome. You know?
So if you're asking for those reasons and not just to make small talk, then you probably want to know those things. And so you'd probably remember them because you had a reason to know them. If you're just making small talk and you're just asking each other, like, every single minute detail about each other, then I don't know. I don't think it's a huge deal if you forget some of that stuff.
I remember many years ago, I was having a conversation, and it was over the internet, and I was typing away because they were telling me stuff that I wanted to remember about them, because I have the memory of a goldfish, so I don't remember things past.
Oh, you were taking notes?
Yeah, so I had notepad pages of notes regarding, like, things that they loved and stuff. Well, you know, because I was, like, interested in them. I'm like, well, I don't want them to think I don't, you know, because there's the stereotype where women in general, I guess, get upset if you don't remember their thing. Right? You don't remember my birthday? Smack. You don't remember this date?
Okay, you should remember the birthdays.
Okay. All right. Okay, birthdays. Yeah. But, like, oh, you don't remember what my favorite color is? You know, whatever. Like, there's that stereotype that you see in sitcoms all the time, right?
Okay.
So.
Well, I guess that's also maybe a good test for the person you're dating. Like, if they freak out that you don't remember some tiny detail, first of all, how badly are they freaking out about this?
Not
and
much.
How important is that detail? And what does that tell you about this person?
That's a very good point. But I think when you're, especially if you're the pursuer, like I was at the time, you want to impress the person. Like, you want to show initiative. And so I'm like, all right, time to write another novel with all their information on it.
It's also nice. Sometimes I actually keep little documents about people I'm dating. Mostly it's
Revenge.
for, like, gift-giving purposes.
Oh, gift-giving, not revenge. Okay.
Yeah. So, like, or I definitely try to keep note of, like, when they tell me they want something or that they're interested in something, because I have a terrible time coming up with what to buy people. So I really find those notes to be helpful. And if they have a favorite color and they're, like, really into that color, because a lot of people with their favorite color, they're like, I guess I like this one the best, you know, but if this is, like, their thing, if they really identify with that color, well, that could really help with, like, cards or, you know, like, the color of a thing you're buying them. So some of that information is good to have, you know, just, to, like, store away for, you know, using later to surprise them. Yeah.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I think that when I forget things in regular life, I'll just have to rely on my phone or something to remember it for me, because I forget everything. It's awful. It's awful.
Yeah. No.
And the only reason why I went to that is because that's kind of why I'm like, I prefer texting and messaging and stuff like that, because then I have, just like you said, I have a history. So if they mention something, like a gift, like a thing, I'll be like, oh, I remember they said something about that. You know, Control F, find, right? And then, oh, there you go. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, gotcha. So that's all. I just thought that'd be interesting. But anyway, like I said, it's all about your questions out there, your comments, your all the things. So again, write in at isthislovepod@gmail.com. Sarah, wait, I have to roll in a second because your segment song is playing. Is this love questions? All right, cool.
Is it really? I guess
it will be. I mean, not right now, but when you hear this, this past episode and this episode's edited version of it, you will hear your voice.
Oh my goodness! Okay, it's coming.
It's coming. Yeah, because I'm not going to do it anymore. Anyway, what do we have from the people?
Okay, so the first one is just a comment, but it's from Podbean, or it was left on Podbean. Yay, comment from a listener.
Yeah.
And it says, Ron Lar, host of Indie... What's that?
I'm sorry, I put that information in. He didn't write that stuff.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, but say it anyway. Just so you know, it's not his comment. It's like, well, this is what I am.
Okay. So from Ron Lar, host of Indie Mayhem... He says, oh, no, wait, which is a fun and frantic indie quiz show. He says, I enjoyed the show, but I'm looking forward to Francis's normal AM DJ voice back.
He also sent me a comment on Facebook, and he is like, why is there not a question mark on your podcast?
Oh, boy.
You know it was going to come up because you brought it up. Yeah.
Well, we talked about it, didn't we? And wasn't there... one that did have a question mark or something?
We started with we wanted to start with a question mark, and maybe the question marks formed in a heart or something.
Oh,
like that.
Yeah.
Right. And then we just stuck to having hearts as characters and then just having it more like a phrase. So sorry for no question mark. And yes, I'm about 90%. Well, I'm certain if Ron is not the only one who was looking for a question mark. And also, even though I had you read all that stuff, I was on that show, Indie Mayhem. I was on 2 of his episodes. It's a fun show. You get to see me make a fool out of myself by answering weird and ridiculous questions. So go ahead and check it out on YouTube. Just look up Indie Mayhem, and you'll see all the episodes from this past season. And yeah, I was on it twice. I was a loser.
Nice.
Well, I kind of gave it away, but I'm a loser both times. But watch it anyway because it's fun. It's fun. It's me trying to improv. It's great. But yeah, so, and the normal DJ voice, I'm almost there. I'm about 95%. I'm almost there. Can't hit those high notes yet, but I'm getting there.
The high notes from your singing that you do?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have been playing music on my phone because I told you last week, that I was trying to find music, new music to add to my playlist. I have 800 songs in a playlist that I like to listen to, and I'm trying to get to 1,000. And people have been giving me their playlists, so I've been listening to their songs. I'm like, oh, great, good music. Okay, never heard this before. A lot of indie artists. Okay, going on, and then you introduced me to. Well, I knew Mazzy Star before, but you told me about one of the songs that Mazzy Star did. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so I'm listening to it because I was really disappointed in myself last year. I didn't listen to much music. I got my Spotify year in review, and I'm like, I only listened to like 100 hours during a full 365 days. I think not.
Oh, shame on you.
So I just started. Here's why I was also embarrassed, because apparently the number one song I listened to was Vanilla Ice's Ninja Rap from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Apparently that was the number one song I listened to, and I'm like, no.
Is that your favorite song?
No, but on another show I do, Super Geeked Up, we watched Ninja Turtles 2. We did like a I don't know, watch along. And they played that song, and I'm like, oh, man, I forgot how much I like this song. So I played it. It's not my favorite song, but I'm like, oh, yeah, this is really bad and really funny. I was going to say,
it's really weird. Did you just hear that song for the first time last year?
Well, I just forgot about it completely. And
then
I got returned. I'm like, oh, my God, this is awful, but great. And so I just started listening to it again. And
that's fun, though.
Yeah. Apparently I listened to it enough to where it was my number one played song 2021, which I again am very embarrassed about. So I'm trying to listen to more music, and hopefully I'll have a better number one on my list. Hopefully it's not Taylor Swift, but whatever.
Oh, what's wrong with T Swift?
No, nothing. But, I proudly display the fact that I have listened to a lot of T-Swizzle. As a fellow Swiftie.
She has some good songs. She has some good music.
She does. But anyway, what is our next question? Oh, man.
Okay, the next one is, my friend and I are going to Dragon Con, and it's probably one of the most social pop culture conventions in the U.S. We've tried online dating, and it hasn't worked, so we're hoping you guys can help us two gentlemen out with some Dragon Con pickup lines.
Well, gentlemen, your mission, if you choose to accept it. We met at a convention.
We did. Did we meet at
San Diego?
That's where we met. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. We did not meet at Emerald, where I feel like we should have, because
Were you there?
I was there. That's how I met. And that's where I met Gabe. I met Gabe.
And I was at his booth, so that's very weird that we didn't meet.
Yeah, that is weird. I don't know why we didn't meet then, but yeah. So, but now we met at San Diego Comic-Con. If you were single and patrons came up to you and tried to sweep you off your feet, what would be a good Comic-Con-esque line that would totally get you? Because I have some dragon-esque pickup lines, but I'm just curious about the general convention.
Oh my gosh. I cannot even think of a line that would... like a Comic-Con related pickup line that I would have been like, oh, well, I'm here working, but that just totally, swept me off my feet.
I mean, like, it worked
what's that?
It did work for someone there. I'm just letting you know now.
Oh.
Well,
I'm actually really curious what it was, because I cannot think of anything.
I mean, you were alone at that table for a while, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I was kind of basically working, and when you're working, you kind of have almost like a shield up between you and the public, where it's like a professionalism kind of thing.
That's true. Yeah. No, I agree, but also, unfortunately, you're a lady, and ladies get hit on at conventions because there's a lady at a convention.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I know. Definitely. I actually don't think I ran into too much of that there. Because, well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ladies running around during cosplay. I think that they're much more interesting than, someone sitting at a booth selling some, independent comics that nobody knew existed,
I'm going to have to ask you whatever happened to them. But anyway,
What? Wait,
I never got
that?
my copy. I never got a copy. And I'm like, oh.
Wait, what?
No.
Did you order one?
I don't remember, but I would have, because I would have been supportive, but I don't remember.
There's no way you ordered one, because...
Maybe I didn't. I would have bought it at the table.
Yeah, we would have just given it to you there.
Yeah.
So if you ordered it later, at a later date, then that's... I am very sorry you didn't get a copy. We'll have to figure that out. I don't remember anyone ordering one, but we'll have to definitely get you a copy.
I have to get one signed by you.
I guess I can do that.
Oh, come on.
I mean, you're a crazy fan. I don't know if I should entertain your lunacy, but maybe I can work that out.
Dude, we hung out so much at the convention. How dare you? And yeah. Anyway. So I'm guessing, yeah, you're right. I suppose people not behind booths were probably more hit on by people. And the thing that Dragon Con has that a lot of, San Diego even doesn't have, is that it's a 24-hour convention. So stuff happens all night long, as far as I understand.
Oh.
And it's only, I want to say 21 plus after a certain hour. And so it's just all adults after a certain hour at that convention.
Wow.
Yeah. Where apparently It is considered like a hookup convention, sort of. So,
I've never heard of anything like this.
Yeah, Dragon Con is pretty wild from what I hear. I haven't been. This was supposed to be my first year, but, things happened. So I couldn't go. But, yeah. So I guess here, guys, you could try these. Somewhat good. This is from pickuplineninja.com. So these are somewhat good pickup lines. I don't know. I asked someone once if I said, do you believe in love at first sight, or should I walk by you again? I asked them if that would work.
I love it.
And they said, it's cute. It could probably work. And I'm like, oh, okay.
It is cute. I like that. I like new ones I haven't heard before that aren't like skeezy,
Yeah. Like, oh, nice shoes. Want to F? Like, okay.
Well, I mean, or lazy. Lazy and skeezy, no thanks. But like clever, cute, or really funny ones are good.
Oh, yeah. I used to know a few just for the hell of it because I don't know, I love doing relationship podcasts. I've been doing this for a while, and I used to remember them, but I don't need them anymore, so I don't use them. But I just use my charm. No,
yeah.
Oh God. Okay. All right. These are awful. I just read the first one, and they're awful. Okay. Do you like dragons? Because I want to dragon my balls across your face tonight. Ew! Wow, that's awful. You
two gentlemen should not use that one.
Did you know that eggs aren't the only thing I lay?
Oh.
Oh, here's a good one. I guess you are a fairy type because I can't help your charm on me. That's okay. That's, fantasy.
I can't help your charm on me.
I guess fairies have a charm, like they can charm you, I guess.
I guess. I think I might. I think if someone said that to me, I'd be like, thank you.
I know, right? It's a little weird. How about this one? You are still hot, even if your eyes are that cold.
What?
That's awful. That's
I don't even get what it's supposed to mean.
I don't know, but this is terrible. Last. Oh my God. I can't say any of these. They're all terrible. I'm gonna. All right. So they're awful, but I think here's the thing. I think pickup lines, even though I know it was meant in good humor, all right? These guys meant it in good humor more than anything else. I think that I'm hoping that people are charming enough to where their charm will be what attracts the person, right? Like hopefully they have a charisma and a charm about them that doesn't require, dragons and balls or anything. Like you don't need that. Hey girl, are you a dragon? Because you only exist in my dreams.
What? That's weird.
How about
that was a strange one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I borrow a map? I seem to be lost in your eyes.
I think I've heard that one before.
Yeah. Don't do the
something similar.
Yeah. God. Sorry. Again.
With that dragon and dreams one, they should have used fantasy instead of dreams. That would have been way better.
That's true.
Like, because you exist in my fantasy.
Yeah, because that doesn't.
The dream. Yeah. See, that's a lazy pickup line to me, and not impressed.
Yeah. Let's see. How about this? Oh God, no! I can't do that one either. Oh my Lord, these are all terrible. Okay, look, I didn't prepare for this because I thought, how, these are going to be silly. These aren't going to be all about sex. No, they're all about sex. None of them are about like whether the person you're talking to is attractive or interesting or smart or whatever. Like, look at this. Are you the Ender Dragon? Because I want to kill you and steal your kids. Like,
whoa, what?
I don't know what that means. It's terrible. Are you like Imagine Dragons? Imagine dragging these nuts across your face. Stop it already.
Oh,
Will
my
you
goodness.
Please stop? Oh,
I think people were just trying to come up with pickup lines, and it's kind of like trying to make up jokes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're really doing their best to be funny. And you can't be you can be funny because I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the average woman likes a guy with a personality, with a sense of humor. Excuse me, right? Like you like someone who can make you chuckle, make you laugh.
I mean, yeah, I do. I've actually heard though it is like a cultural thing. Like I've talked to someone from another culture who was like, it's so strange to me that like American women are into like men who make them laugh because where I grew up, that's not attractive in a man.
Really?
So. Yeah.
What did she think was considered attractive regarding a man?
Like more of a macho thing.
Wow.
Not like humorous.
So someone who can lift a truck.
I don't know if it was like that.
Can you lift this truck? Because that's hot. That's the only thing. I'm only going to date you if you can carry this car from across the parking lot.
I don't know if it was like physical strength as much as just like a macho attitude and personality. Maybe kind of like more stoic or, like just, yeah, not funny and silly, apparently.
They want the dark, mysterious type.
I think they do, yeah.
Can't know anything about me.
Right. I am unknowable. And they're like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah. I like the mystery. I like to, you're like an onion, you have so many layers. No, thank you. All right. Well, look, gentlemen, gentlemen, you guys have to, my recommendation, this is what you have to do. Wear a tux, all right? Have a preferably non-perishable rose in your hand. Go up to someone who you fancy, who you have an interest in. And just hand them the rose and say that you choose them or whatever. What's the line for The Bachelor? What is the line? I don't know what the line is.
I have never watched that
I've never
show.
watched it either, but I do know they give out roses. So,
well, okay. Now that you mentioned a non-perishable rose, I knew a kid in high school. This isn't really a pickup line because I think they were already dating.
Oh. Okay.
But he gave his girlfriend like a dozen roses, and one of them was fake. And he said something like, "My love for you shall die with the last rose." It was so dramatic and so very high school.
Oh my God.
We're all like, huh?
I mean, no, that's very high school. No, that is the epitome of high school when the person that you've known for 25 minutes is the one you'll be with forever. Like, I get it. Like, I understand.
Yeah. I mean, me and my friends are kind of like, well, yeah, exactly. Like, how long have they been dating?
Yeah, concentrate on being yourselves, but also, I think doing something really out of the ordinary is a great way now to date in person, like to kind of, especially if you know someone, like you've known them for a little while and you want to start dating them. Doing something unique like that, I think, is a great way to transition that into dating, because we've lost our creative spark. We used to have flash mobs, and we used to have we used to surprise people. We used to do stuff like that. We used to go out of our way to make things seem special. But I think,
yeah,
I feel like I haven't, because of the lack of stories that I normally used to see, over a decade ago online, that I feel like that's not a thing anymore. I don't know.
Well, honestly, the pandemic changed things a lot.
True.
People became very, secluded, and everything just became like less social. And so I guess we'll see the ripple effects of that.
We already are, actually.
Yeah.
I think we already are. I think
Yeah.
We're there,
Yeah, we're seeing all that, and we'll continue to like notice things and be like, well, it didn't used to be that way before, like 2019 or 2020.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you can come up with, if you're like a charming, sweet, kind of funny, and like, just sort of like a good positive energy. If you come up with like a really clever, funny, cute, but not like creepy or aggressive pickup line.
Yeah.
I think you could really make some ladies laugh, and that is, for at least in like, a lot of cultures, that's definitely a way to impress.
All right. Last few before we move on, because I find these hilarious. These are not dragon related. These are just pickup lines. I had to complain to Spotify because you're not being named the hottest single.
Oh my God. I kind of like that.
That's okay. Oh God. If you were,
Did you say that's okay?
That's okay. I like it. No, I think it's good. I think it's
like
good.
just okay.
Well, would I use it? No. I think that's a little.
I mean, it's cheesy for sure. Yeah. I can see what you mean, but I love how you're like, meh, nah. What's your favorite one then?
I told you the one. Do you believe in love at first sight? Or should I watch?
I think that one's great.
I think that's a really good one, right? I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
But
I really like that one.
Just a couple more. If you were a vegetable, you'd be a cucumber.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm rolling my eyes at that one.
Let's see. Oh, that's weird. You're like a fine wine. The more I drink you in, the better I feel.
Huh. It really is like, it's like jokes. Like,
right.
It's hard to tell you how to write a good one.
Yeah.
But when you hear a good one, you love it,
If being sexy was a crime, you'd be guilty as judged.
Oh my God. You like that one because you can say it that way. And
I can say it. Yeah, I can say
very
it. Very
funny.
Yeah, I can say it in a really ridiculous voice. All right, hold on. What was the one that we've had? All right, since you seem to like this voice. If you were a vegetable, you'd be a cucumber.
Oh my God, I do love that voice.
Yeah, so if an old man comes up to you and says that, it's love. All right, what do we have as our last question for this segment?
Okay, for the general populace, the last question is, how can I get my partner to contribute more? We both work full time, but I do the majority of the cleaning, cooking, and laundry. They spend most of their free time on TV, games, or napping. I keep expressing my frustration. They'll apologize and change for a day or two, and then it's back to normal. How do I get them to make a change for real?
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been in a relationship like that?
I've been in relationships where I feel like I'm doing more of the household stuff for sure, but I haven't been in this situation because there were bigger issues to work on first, like much bigger, but I can see how if those issues weren't a problem, this would have come up for me. Definitely. I'm not saying about like, that the person definitely would have responded the same way as this person's partner has, but I could see getting frustrated that way.
Sure. In my ex-wife relationship marriage thing that I did,
yeah,
we kind of shared responsibilities, sort of. She cooked like a couple times, but I did all the majority of the chores, cleaning, taking out the dog, cleaning the litter, stuff like that. I never convinced her to do otherwise because, well, things were amiss. So I never got her to do the work, given the situation. Like, maybe laundry, and I'd be, that's probably it, is we would probably do laundry together. And that was more or less it. Like, I'd pick up a shirt, and I'd be like, you know what this shirt is made out of? I'd yell at her, and I'd say, well, it's boyfriend material. Sorry, I'm still looking at big old lines. So
I'm like, is that a fighting pickup line?
No. But it's true that we did do laundry together. I just was able to, yeah. So laundry and things like that, but a lot of the upkeep I did myself because she was out cheating. So it was a little different for me.
God, yeah.
To for my responsibilities. Now, if it was a normal relationship where improprieties weren't happening, I almost think, this is going to sound terrible, but maybe not, a reward system of sorts, right? Like, look, you do these things, I will do this thing, right? Depending on who, because again, there's no typical gender roles in this question. It's just, it's open-ended. So I don't know if it's a he or she. But because technically, I guess, either sex is motivated by different things, right? Like a guy will probably be motivated to do more chores and contribute more if there was a little hanky-panky attached to...
Oh my gosh,
no,
yeah.
but right? Like, but that's the thing, right? If there's a little bit of that attached, a guy would be like, okay, I'll, wash the dishes, sweep the floors, vacuum, do the laundry, clean the yard, like everything. You could sit back and relax when you make that when you make that proposal, because dudes will, for the most part, would be very up for, no pun intended, that kind of motivation. As for a lady, what would you do? What would be your motivation? Let's say you were the one who was not contributing equally to the chores and the maintenance of the household.
That's never been an issue for me because I have like a feeling of like fairness is important to me. So I don't like feeling like I'm not, holding up my end of things or like I'm taking advantage of someone. So I think if there's something that's really bothering someone, I would want to talk it out. It would be really weird for me to be in a situation where they're like, I'll reward you if you do something to make me feel less crappy in this relationship. So it would just be really, I can't imagine like being like, yes, I shall accept a reward for doing something I should have been doing anyways. So yeah, I can't think of anything that I would be like, yeah, give me that and I'll help you. Yeah. I mean, if it was like a one-off thing, like a silly thing, like the garage is full of my crap, but if you help me clean it out, I'll give you something cool.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe like you can, I don't know, buy me some Copic markers or something. But that would be like that'd be like a silly thing that's like you're helping me with a favor that's not something you are necessarily supposed to be doing. And just to be fun, I'll say, I'm going to buy you a gift because I want to do something nice for you anyways.
Right.
I would probably pick something like that, but it would be really weird for me to feel like I was getting rewarded for doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I don't think I could really accept anything for that.
Well, because, based on this question, it seems like nothing seems to be working in regards to the conversation. So it looks like, expressing frustration, letting them know that, hey, you're not holding your end of the bargain. And so they'll feel guilty for a couple days, and then they'll just go back to TV, games, and napping. So how do you keep it consistent? Which is the only reason why I mentioned the reward system, because at least that way, it's obviously this person doesn't care enough to do it.
Yeah, and I don't think if someone's acting like that, I'm not sure that even rewards would work for very long.
And the person habit.
I mean, also you don't want to have to train your partner that way. Like you want to be like, I want you to understand that I like what I'm going through and that you're making me go through this and that you need to be like an adult and step up and help. The tricky thing is they clearly understand that it's a problem and they clearly feel bad about it. Otherwise, they would put up some kind of, debate or say, you're wrong, you're not doing that much, or I'm doing more than you think I am. And there's ways to deal with that. But if they already acknowledge that it's not right and they do try to change, but they just can't, I mean, we're looking at, really, really strongly ingrained habits. And I don't know at this point. I know a lot of people are like, you shouldn't jump to this, like, as the first thing when you're having problems. There's other things you can do. You can talk about it, but they've tried talking about it. So I think couples therapy might be helpful. I know that it can cost money and all of that, and sometimes it's not super comfortable, but you've tried having this conversation one-on-one. It might take another voice and another perspective and someone to like reframe it for them.
Yeah, I feel like if that is an option, totally, because they're going to come up with solutions that I still think are going to be habit forming. I would not be surprised if it was a little bit of maybe not specifically a reward system, but a system in which they're both getting something out of working together, right? Like there's just something that they both get fulfillment from. She's getting fulfillment from him helping, but he's getting fulfillment because he's not, obviously, if he got fulfillment from helping, he would do it, or she would do it, right?
I think she would probably, I mean, it's not really like giving him something, but it'd be really helpful if she did show her appreciation and like lots of affection towards him, that is a bit like a reward, but it's also like a love language too.
Sure.
So yeah, it shouldn't be that he completely changes and she just like doesn't even notice.
Right.
That wouldn't be worth it.
Right. Yeah, and I feel like this is a common issue, I think, for a lot of people.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to gender them because I did. I know.
I did. So don't worry about it.
It goes both ways. Yeah. I've heard this happening for couples of both going in both directions, and
you're okay.
I did not mean to do that.
It's fine because it's easier if you can kind of do that, right? Like it's a little harder if you stay vague, because then you don't know who you're talking about, essentially. So it's fine. And I think that there is a reward for the partner who's not, well, I guess we could have said that. There's a reward for the partner, or there's something that the partner gets out of it that they're not getting from not doing it. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that'll be the case. But it's tough. I mean, it is something that I feel, from just anecdotally and from listening and watching the world, that this is a common occurrence where one person obviously or usually picks up the slack because the other person doesn't. For whatever reason, maybe their job is incredibly demanding, and so and if both people have demanding jobs, not I'm not saying it's an excuse, but people have different levels of stress, coping with stress and coping with that much amount of work. Sometimes they need to sit down and play, like just to get their mind off things for a little while because they had a rough day at work, or because work is just tough in general. Maybe that's it. I don't know, but I almost feel like if it's something that you really, really need to have happen, then go ahead and talk to a third party, not your friends, not your family. Don't need that kind of skewed perspective.
Yeah, you don't need to like have people like gang up on them or anything.
Yeah. But get that third party via therapist or via someone who is a neutral third party. Sometimes that can help if you can't afford a therapist or you don't have that means, right? If you're not working a job that gives you that type of benefit, find that person and maybe they can give you some advice that you didn't get from us. But I'm still thinking a little bit of, what is it? You get more, what is it? Something with honey than...
Catch more flies with honey than with vinegar.
Yes. So maybe instead of being frustrated, again, showing that affection, showing that love as a reward.
Yeah. But, like you said, it's habits too. Sometimes people, they do need some kind of extra push to change a habit. And some people grew up in a way where they like messes don't bother them. They can let things go forever and not even notice. So it's also like getting them to be like more understanding of where your feelings are coming from and like how you need this. And, you know, they might just not see as that big of a deal. And that's again where someone can come in and like help frame the perspective better for them.
Another just quick one is I think gamifying it too might be fun, like turning it into a game. What? You don't think so? I think it'd be fun.
I'm sure there's like an app for it or something. Yeah.
There used to be an app where you got experience points for like doing it was a to-do list app, and you would get experience and points, and you get like loot, and like it's like a real game. But you just had to make sure you accomplished those tasks, and then you got points for it. And you know, just like the walking gamification, where if you walk a certain distance, like in Pokemon Go or something, you hatch eggs or whatever, right? Like you get something out of doing an activity. Maybe that's what you can do for this. Is like turn it into a game. I mean, he's already playing video games anyway, or she or whoever. Like they're playing video games anyway. Gamify the chores, and maybe they'll get something out of it. So. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So we have. Thank you very much again for those who comment, who leave questions, who share your thoughts and feelings. Thank you, gentlemen and other gentlemen, for that. Thank you, random person, for the other question. We really appreciate it. Again, isthislovepod@gmail.com. Isthislovepod, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm gonna keep saying it until we get more. I want to be like swimming in it. Right now we're getting we get enough to do the questions. Shows. Yeah, but I want to be swimming in it. I want to be like drowning in it. Like right. No one can see me, but I'm like waving my arms like I'm drowning. All right, let's get mostly because he hasn't heard the last episode. Let's get into Right Cow Left Coast Corner, shall we?
Yes. Okay. Got some good questions from Right Cow Left Coast. Yeah. First one is relation. Okay, so this is a bit of a paragraph here. So
sure.
Bear with me if I have some trouble. Right. I've had a little bit of trouble reading today. It seems like okay.
Oh, you're fine.
Relationships ebb and flow. The question is whether one or both individuals in the relationship are willing to put in the time and effort to retain the relationship. Also, whether the less interested individual is willing to accept the time and effort of the individual who is putting in the work to retain and improve the relationship. Is that not something for those who believe in a better future? Hope is the light at the top of the well or hole one might be experiencing. What if the light of hope has been dimmed or appears to have been extinguished?
Ooh, heavy.
Yes.
Yes, relationships do ebb and flow.
Mm-hmm.
Again, my longest has been 8, and it only ebbed at the end. It flowed pretty well at the beginning, like for 5-6 years. Then it kind of ebbed at the end. So, yeah, this is a tough one because I don't know. We kind of had a similar question a couple weeks ago, or like a week ago, where about falling out of love. And this is very similar in the sense of, but in this case though, we already see that people are working towards it. Like this one is a step further, and people are working to keep the relationship alive. Mm-hmm. And like I said, for me it was difficult because of depression and things like that. I couldn't keep my relationship with my ex-wife alive. She was, even though she had a choice to make, and she made what I think was a bad one. I didn't. I was in a bad place as well, and I didn't help things. And not an excuse for her behavior, but it's not like I was in a place to kind of, I was hoping for some patience. I didn't get it, so it is what it is in that regard. So. Mm-hmm. It's tough when one party isn't willing to put in the same amount of effort and try to make the relationship better. Sometimes it does fall apart. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it doesn't. True. I'm feeling that. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but like I feel that like pretty deep, like having to make things work and having to make things make something out of not nothing, but just make something out of what is potentially going away. And it's really difficult. I know that I struggled so much trying to reason pretty much every day, like, why don't I just keep going? Why don't I just keep this thing happening? And then part of me is like, well, because I don't know if you necessarily feel the same way you did. So how do you deal with those conflicting feelings? Because yeah, you know, it's not like the love went away. It may have evolved to something else, but it's, you know, there's a part of it that's still there. And when you want to make it work, it's even tougher still because you feel like you failed because you can't, you know, no matter what you try or no matter what you do, you can't seem to make it go the way that the other party wants it to. And it's really frustrating and really disheartening. So it's tough. But I think as long as both parties are willing to keep working at it, I mean, there may be some point where it's not worth it anymore. There may be one point where it's like, well, we've done everything we could, and we can't rekindle the spark. We tried. Time to move on. But until then, I say keep trying and keep working on it and keep trying to keep that spark there, even if it's just a little one. Just keep fanning it, and maybe it'll turn into a flame. I don't know. Have you? What you've been though? You know, you said for yourself that a relationship isn't worthwhile unless both are eagerly pursuing the relationship at the same time, I guess. Well,
I think that if one of you has fallen out of love and is, I don't know why they're staying in if you're with someone who you think doesn't love you anymore and they aren't and you know, you talk to them about it and they aren't saying, no, I do still love you. And you're not really sure why they're with you anymore. It's fine to say, well, I'm not just going to hold on to this because you won't break up with me first, you know? Right. And I don't think it's helpful to try to beg someone to stay with you when they want to leave.
Sure.
So, I mean, that's kind of like my feeling when it comes to, you know, not wanting to be with someone who doesn't want to be with me. I'm not going to try to convince them to if they want to go. I mean, I might try to say, hey, I think we can work this out. You know, maybe it's not that you have fallen out of love. Maybe it's something else. Right. But if they're like, no, I'm not, you know, I've fallen out of love, then it's hard. But you might, in my opinion, it might just be better to say, well, I'd rather find someone who does love me.
But see, that's the thing, though. I don't think love is 24/7, 365. I think love, like,
it's not, and I think it's a choice. Yeah. I think it's not something that you just feel all the time. I think it's a choice. But if someone's saying, I no longer choose you, I just don't know how worth it is to like really hang on to that person and like not let go. I guess I'm talking more about like when they're pretty much out the door. You know? Right.
Yeah. Well, but it looks like in this particular case, like I said, it doesn't seem like either party is really giving up, really. It's just like, well, I guess one person isn't putting as much effort and the other one is. So I guess the one person is out, you know, 1 foot out the door.
Well, let me ask you something. When you were going through this, did your ex ask you what was happening and like how to make it better?
I think at the beginning, yeah. And when you don't know why you feel the way you do, when you don't know why everything hurts all the time, and it was a hard answer. It was hard for me to answer that question because I wanted to make it work, obviously. Like, I wanted to make it work with my ex-wife. And like I said, it wasn't like it took a while before the stuff happened, but yeah, I was in a position where I couldn't. I was pretty much sinking in quicksand, and I couldn't find a way to climb out, and I couldn't figure out an appropriate answer to say, well, look, this is the way to do it. If I had known, oh, well, I need to go to a therapist and get on some antidepressants, and I'll be in a better mind frame to work this thing out. If I had known that, if someone had told me that, like, because I didn't know that was an option at the time. I'm like, oh, I would have done that. Like, that would have been my, that would have been my go-to. But then as it progressed and we both started talking about therapy, she's like, yeah, I'll go to therapy, which she wasn't going to. And you go to therapy, which I was going to. And I said, well, why don't you go together? She's like, you work on you. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, okay, yeah, that's not really helpful if you know, one of you is refusing to, you know, do something that they want the other person to do. But I do think that, you know, maybe I have the benefit of knowing about, like, the help there is for mental health out there. And a lot of people in the world, you know, or at different ages, maybe don't know about it or don't know that there's help for what they're feeling. So for me, if I saw my partner going through something like this, I would be able to say, I really need I need for us to be doing better. And I think, I don't even know how I would say this. Like, I need for you to do something to help yourself, basically. Yeah. And that means at least starting with therapy. Right. So I think if you can tell your partner, you know, I understand you're going through something. I really want to support you and I'm here for you and I want to do whatever I can, but I also need for you to do something for yourself, you know? And a lot of times that's therapy to start with. Yeah. I mean, it's hard if you think like, I'm just going to suffer through this relationship with someone who has, who's going through like mental health distress of some kind forever because they will, I'm assuming they know what they need to do. Yeah. They know what they can do, but they just won't.
Right. Yeah. Again, that's when their foot isn't even out the door. They're like there's just 1 foot in the door. Like they're already practically out of the situation. And look, I don't know when that happened in that particular relationship, but it did. And you know, it is what it is. But because I don't think, especially, you know, maybe early 2010, stuff like that. Maybe it's people started talking about it. Maybe it became more of a thing, but it didn't really start kind of gaining momentum, this whole kind of mental health. You know, it was still a stigma back then, like a really big one, right? Yeah. Like it was still something that people didn't talk about. It's something people whispered about. People didn't really bring it up. It's like, oh, you're messed up in the head. Well, you're crazy and you're not worth dealing with, right?
Yeah, or you need to figure it out yourself.
Which is still, I know, people listening, if you, I'm certain you've heard people out there pretty much saying, you know what the cure to depression is? Man up, you know, stuff like that. Like, I know that's
terrible.
I know that that's still a thing that goes out there. And
it's horrible. Like, how can you say that to someone who's suffering? You know, like it's your fault, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's still a lot of people out there who's there's a battle, I guess. There's a lot of people out there who still kind of fight back against it, right? And still think that the best therapy is exercise, eating well, and, you know, being a man, you know, for dudes especially. For women, though, apparently it's okay. I don't know why women aren't given the same kind of advice, but for guys, that's usually the advice that they're given. It's like, all right, dude, you know, if you're gonna go and be sad on me, stop it, no crying. Like, okay,
yeah. I mean, it's definitely like a like macho thing for guys. I've noticed for women, a lot of it comes from like, I think, family members when they get that sort of information, and it's usually like you need to be more positive.
Oh yeah.
You need to smile more.
Right.
You need to like, you know, I don't know. You need to get dressed up and go out there and just like, you know, don't have bad thoughts. Don't complain.
Don't have bad thoughts.
Yeah. Like you just need to be more positive. You need to stop having those thoughts. Just stop it. Just stop doing it.
Yeah. Well, and I think also that women in general, I guess, have a more built-in support group usually, which is other women. Like, I think that...
Yeah, they do. They do. Generally, I think from my, from what I've heard of and my, you know, in my life and people I know, is when there is stuff coming in like that, like advice about how to like just stop having mental health problems, it usually comes from like family. Mm-hmm. but there's a great friend support group for a lot of women. And friends, we will like listen to each other. Whereas, you've talked a lot about how men don't necessarily have that friend support group that will listen and be empathetic.
Well, yeah, I think that that it's still considered that there's still a taboo to that, to have that men, knowing that men can be emotional too and have issues and stuff. Instead, they get punched in the stomach and told to suck it up or whatever. Which I was familiar with that. Again, right? Like the only advice I ever got for men and women after the divorce was like, well, the best way to get over somebody is to get another one. Right? Like that's the advice I was given, not like, oh, well, you should probably take care of your mental health or whatever, like, or at least, take care of yourself in some way, shape, or form, even if it's not therapy or whatever. Just taking care of yourself is like not even a recommendation. It's just like, well, just go have sex with a random woman and you'll be fine, as if that's all it takes. Like, oh, all right. Wow. Yeah. Give me this miracle cure. Like, okay. But, yeah. So for that question, it's a tough one, but I think that, it's good to kind of go back to it with a new set of eyes on it. What else does he got?
So his next question is, what are your thoughts on escaping, seeking love, and accepting romantic solitude and or sexual celibacy?
A lot of people are happy with that, actually.
Yeah, I think that, as humans, we generally want companionship, but I also think society really pushes like coupling and kind of gives people this message that if you're single, you should be out looking for somebody. Right. You're not really going to be happy or fulfilled until you're in a relationship. But if you know that you would be happier leaving that behind and being single, then, don't let people pressure you. I think that's a totally legitimate and healthy thing to have if you will be happier that way.
If you can, build your friend group, build that support group, whether friends or family, just build that group, someone you can talk to. Because, even though you're not seeking love or romance anymore, sometimes I think people equate that to just being alone, like not having anyone around, right?
Yeah.
Which I can appreciate. There's a lot of people out there who are experiencing that now, inadvertently, I guess. But for yourself, if that's something that you're not looking for, I think that's a perfectly fine way to live. And who knows? Again, you may change your mind. I think what I love about the human mind, which is why I took psychology as a major, even though it did nothing for me. but it didn't give me...
No, it did do stuff for you. It gave you like lots of really good perspectives.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah, I guess so, yeah. Because I'm really fascinated by how the mind works and how our brains just function in a way that you cannot explain, right? Like something you hear subliminally, something you see out the corner of your eye can be the thing that kind of flips that switch and makes things different for you. And so in this particular case, or it could be a movie or a TV show or a video game or something, like there's something out there where you'll be like, you know what? Maybe I do want to do this thing again, the romance thing again. Maybe, because I read this thing, I read 50 Shades of Grey and I'm like, oh man, this is great. Okay, maybe not that. Maybe not that one. It's like, I don't have that many ties. But if you're interested not now in that, that's a perfectly wonderful life. I actually watched a documentary of people who actively just like, no, I want to be single. My last relationship was, 30 years ago. I'm so happy kind of just doing my own thing, living my own life. I have my friends, my buddies to go fishing with or whatever, or my girlfriends to go, watch movies with or whatever. And they have people of whom they still have that social connection with, and they just live life perfectly fine. And that's a perfectly fine way to live.
Yeah, I know people who are like single on purpose.
Yeah.
And they actually have, a really great social circle, and they do a lot of things, and it's all just stuff they want to do. They don't have to worry about what someone else that they're sharing their life with wants to do, and they love it, So yeah, it works great. I think if you come to the decision to not have anyone in your life and you're feeling maybe kind of like helpless and hopeless, that's something else.
Yeah.
And that's definitely something to like, again, talk to somebody about. But if this is like something that makes you happy and you're like, I'm tired of the dating scene. I'm tired of, and yeah, it doesn't have to be permanent. You're of course entitled to change your mind anytime you want to, but if this makes you happy, then yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah, exactly. And again, you went through a pretty tragic moment in your life, so it's really understandable to think this way too, right? Like it makes a lot of sense that this is kind of where your brain goes when you lose somebody. How else will you ever feel the same way again? And that yet people in nursing homes who are 80 and 90 get married and fall in love as an octogenarian, and they're getting crazy and freaky.
That's true.
At like 80 and 90 because, the heart wants what the heart wants sometimes, and it can happen when you least expect it.
Well, and that's a good point too. If you just need to step away because it's, painful, that can be good for you to say, this is not something that makes me happy right now, like dating or trying to find people. Maybe it makes me sad. It makes me stressed out. It makes me feel bad about myself. It can definitely do that. And so it could be good to just step away for that reason.
Yeah, we're not the people who gave me that terrible advice. We're not here to tell you, you need to jump back on the wagon as a way to recover. That is not what we will never say that. What we'll say is that, you will do what's best for you, and you'll have the support and the people behind you telling you, look, if it's something obviously that's harmful, no, but if it's something that's helpful, yes, of course we got your back. Got you. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Right Calicos. And yes, we were happy to mention your wife in the last episode. More than happy to talk about her. We will keep her memory alive. I'll post those links again to Share Bear's art. So go check it out because it's very good. And also, yes, someone out there give me a kidney.
Yes, he says, please somebody provide Francis with a kidney.
But
it's good to say it.
Good to say it. Yeah, I mean, look, it's
yes.
The clock's ticking, and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling that clock. All right. Well, we have a choice. We can wrap it up here, or we can let's wrap it up here.
Yeah, do after hours next.
I want to have time for after hours before it gets too late. But just a little hint, if you want to, for $1 a month on patreon.com/aka the other guy, you get to hear Sarah and I talk about the sillier relationship stuff that goes on in life. Like, do you want to smell better? Do you want to really attract a mate? Maybe vabbing is right for you. Or maybe you're looking for that special gift for someone, like in the form of a lamp or something, and you want a unique way to turn it on by either stroking it up or down, whatever works to get that light.
Turn it on.
To turn it on. You got to stroke it to turn it on. Well, we're going to be talking about that and more on the after show podcast of this show that I'm talking about right here. Thanks, everyone, for listening. You guys are awesome. Please subscribe to the show through iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all the ones. Whatever it is, just subscribe. Leave a review. Just give us the love. Give the stars, because, again, with that, more people will find us. I am happy to see that, again, more and more listeners every single episode are coming by, checking out the show. We're slowly but surely growing, and it's thanks to you guys liking, sharing, and commenting, and of course sending emails and stuff like that. So go ahead and do that. Email is thislovepod@gmail.com. Is thislovepod, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And lastly, but not leastly, you can find me at aka the other guy on Twitter and Instagram, because I tweet about movies I watch and weird stuff like that. Whatever. I share more personal, just regular life in that one, and so share jokes and share let's see. I don't see any good pickup lines. Oh, here you go. Your eyes are like the ocean. I could swim in them all day.
What?
No? Okay. How about this? Last one.
I mean, I could totally pick apart like why it just doesn't, it just isn't that good because that's not a really specific thing to the ocean. And it's not something a lot of people think about the ocean. I could swim in it all day.
How about this? Is your name Google? Because you have everything I'm searching for. That's
okay.
good.
I like that one better. I mean, that's more funny because it's like it is more specific to the thing they're talking about.
And last but not least, because this is awful, if you were a Transformer, you'd be Optimus Fine. All right, everyone.
Oh, my God.
Thanks, everyone, again for listening. We'll be back next week with a brand new show. Love yourselves, love one another, and don't make love to the lamp attached to the wall. All right, everyone, we'll talk to you next time. Bye.